It amazes me. It absolutely amazes me the lengths that ESPN will go to polish the turd. And the thing is, there's really no need to polish this turd. Women's college basketball is performing well, at least during the tournament. Regular season was a disaster outside of a handful of games. Ironically enough, it is very difficult to find ratings for women's college basketball during the regular season. I wonder why. Going into the tournament, no one expected ratings to top last year's phenomenon. Last year, Caitlin Clark was white hot. Well, Casey, what about Angel Reese? Yeah, she was there too. But going into the tournament last year, there was more attention, more focus on the women's tournament, at least from a media perspective, than there was on the men's. This year, it's a completely different story. They have a couple of stars in women's basketball this year, but they don't have a national phenomenon, and that's okay. That's okay. Like I said, no one expected Juju Watkins and Paige Buchers to outperform Caitlin Clark. Unfortunately, Juju Watkins won't be given the opportunity because she tore her ACL. Now, obviously, she's out for the rest of the tournament and could miss most of next season as well. Normally, though, when we're comparing ratings, we compare ratings from this year to last year. But for some reason, ESPN has decided to overlook ratings from last year, and they went all the way back to 2023 to compare ratings for the women's tournament. I guess ESPN thinks we're stupid. I guess the worldwide leader in woke thought we wouldn't notice. But there was just one problem, one tiny problem. We did. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you happen to stumble upon this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. Link to the main channel's in the description below. Yesterday afternoon, ESPN finally provided the ratings for the women's tournament. Check it out for yourself. This is the graphic that ESPN posted on Twitter. As you can see, ESPN is conveniently bypassing 2024 and comparing ratings to 2023. These women are amazing! It was the second most consumed first round on record. Women can do anything men can do. Like I pointed out before, I'm always skeptical when the media uses words like consumed instead of watched. I'm always skeptical when the media highlights social media performance instead of highlighting actual ratings. Truth is, ratings were down 22% for the first round, and ratings are down 26% through the first two rounds of the tournament. First round averaged 367,000 viewers, which was significantly higher than what Unrivaled averaged on TNT. Through the first two rounds, the women averaged 602,000. While I wouldn't call these ratings great, they're definitely not bad. I'll be honest with you, I was expecting a much steeper decline. Once again, the tournament is top-heavy. The women are being carried by USC and UConn, who both pulled over 1 million viewers for their first two games. I think it was the same with South Carolina. The rest of the tournament, though, is struggling, but that's always been the case in the first two rounds. Women's tournament always performs better as we get into the later rounds. My question is, why am I the one explaining this? Why can't ESPN just be honest with us? This is why there is no trust in the mainstream media. These people refuse to be honest when it comes to something that doesn't matter, like doofus ratings for a women's basketball tournament. Like I say every year, the tournament is the real draw in women's college basketball. Once again, I'm assuming they struggled during the regular season. If they didn't, their ratings would be headline news throughout the media. But there is no denying the fact that there is a market for women's basketball. Question is, will it translate to the WNBA? Caitlin Clark was able to cross over, but Caitlin Clark is capable of doing things that 99.9% of people aren't capable of doing. Most people, myself included, hate the WNBA. I have never hid my disdain from you guys when it comes to pretend basketball. I hate the WNBA. I have always hated the WNBA. Not only because it's painfully boring, not only because it's one of the worst products on television, the WNBA is also filled with unlikable players. But the league is depending on Paige Buckner. The dump is hoping that Paige Buckner will cross over. Uncle KC has his doubts. Is Paige Bucher the draw, or is UConn the real draw? South Carolina also draws great ratings in women's basketball. Dawn Staley puts a lot of players in the dump. You know how many of those players draw ratings in the WNBA? None. Several years ago, Paige Bucher got on stage, I think it was at the ESPYs, and she basically apologized for her mythical white privilege. Now, to her credit, I haven't seen any symptoms of the woke fungus recently, but if she's partially infected with the woke fungus in college, can we expect the diagnosis to get better once she enters the WNBA? Me personally, I think Juju Watkins has a better chance of crossing over. Problem is, she is still 2 years away from being drafted. A lot can happen in 2 years. That is a lot of time for her drawing power to diminish or maybe increase. The point is, there's clearly a market for women's basketball during the tournament. They have proven they can create new stars at the collegiate level. Hell, the women are doing a better job of creating stars than the men are. But outside of Caitlin Clark, the WNBA is struggling. If I remember correctly, games not involving Caitlin Clark averaged 394,000 viewers last year. Will these new stars in women's college basketball be able to carry that momentum to the WNBA? I'm not the only one asking that question. Seems like they are too. It was announced yesterday that Elmer Fudd, or Azzy Fudd, some young lady who plays for UConn that the media claims is a star, but most people have never heard of. She is returning to UConn next season instead of becoming a dump diver in the WNBA. Why? Well, the decision is purely financial. She can make more money in college. Plus, the WNBA will be negotiating a new CBA, so she could potentially make more in the dump if she waits another year. But the money she is making in college, it is coming based on the UConn platform. Will she have that same platform in the WNBA? I don't think so, but you tell me. Are these stars in women's college basketball going to cross over into the WNBA? Or, once they enter the dump, will their drawing power diminish? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.